Whether you're Generation Lego My Eggo or I'm loving it, here's what everybody else was eating while you were rocking Cheerios and pureed peas on your face the year you were born. An icon of the American breakfast spread. First up, we have classic bacon and eggs. And if you want to talk about timeless, bacon goes back as far as 1500 BC. As for the eggs, they've been around since, well, the beginning of chickens.
Give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Do you understand?
These two foods became an unstoppable force in the 50s. While husbands typically went off to work each day, housewives were expected to cook all the meals, and that included bacon and eggs. And no wonder it was so popular. Bacon is freaking delicious, and eggs are a solid bet, packed with high-powered protein for the whole family. Pancakes have been selling like hotcakes for centuries. And according to Betty Crocker, the first record of them dates back to 600 BC. Sadly, that particular ancient Greek poet didn't share the recipe. But in 1957, pancakes surged in popularity thanks to Quaker. Soon, pantries across the nation were stocked with the natural companion to a hot griddle, Aunt Jemima's buttermilk pancake and waffle mix.
I hope you're hungry. You should see that toast. I couldn't even get it through the door.
We can only assume it was a welcome respite for all the housewives who were already busy whipping up bacon and eggs on the daily. If you hear Eggs Benedict and think fancy brunch, you're not alone. The poached egg, Canadian bacon, hollandaise and English muffin creation was extremely popular in the early 60s. But this dish has actually been around since the 1890s.
Is it actually possible to say no when someone says, "Do you want an Eggs Benedict?"
In the 40s, after World War II, Eggs Benedict became even more popular as people were able to better afford modern luxuries like eating at restaurants. But even so, the saucy dish took some time to find its place. By the 60s, it was cemented as a classic brunch item, which made it a staple of breakfast lovers everywhere. Did you know that Pop-Tarts have existed since the 60s? Millennials, you likely think of these as your classic childhood breakfast, but as it turns out, an entire generation before you was doing Pop-Tarts too.
Saving that other one for later?
No, just pre-gaming.
The toasted treats first hit shelves in 1964, but they looked a little different. Missing that deliciously hard frosting on top, they appeared more like toaster strudel than the Pop-Tarts we know now. And they only came in strawberry, apple currant jelly, blueberry and brown sugar cinnamon. Pop-Tarts, which were named for Andy Warhol's pop art influence, completely sold out in the United States after their first shipment. How's that for popularity? Toasters were definitely having a moment in the 60s and beyond, and in 1970, Kellogg's capitalized on the trend by acquiring Eggo Waffles. The waffles were invented in 1953, but it wasn't until they met Kellogg's magic touch that they launched such a frenzy among Americans.
Karen, you gotta try this.
In 1972, Lego My Eggo became the official catchphrase, and suddenly families everywhere were fighting over each other's waffles. Back in the 70s, though, Eggo didn't offer much in the way of variety. These days, you can choose from chocolate chip, cinnamon toast, whole grain, and even gluten-free versions in all shapes and sizes.
Good morning, America. Come join us for breakfast.
The 70s brought about a new wave of breakfast delights, and many of them have stuck around. One of those was the McDonald's Egg McMuffin. If you've never given in to a Mickey D's breakfast, the McMuffin features a slice of cheese, an egg, and Canadian bacon or sausage, all snug and cozy inside an English muffin. And from the moment they appeared in restaurants, they were a hit. Officially released in 1971, they only got more popular by 1981. At that point, according to Time, breakfast made up 18% of McDonald's total sales. As the LA Times noted, cereal-style granola became popular in the 60s because it was widely seen as a favourite of health nuts. But by the 70s, our friend at General Mills turned granola into a handheld food. Yes, in 1973, granola bars entered the chat under the name Nature Valley.
What the granola is happening?
The trend caught on, and in 1981, Quaker jumped in the game with chewy granola bars. After dominating sales, other brands joined with their own variations, and granola bars became the unofficial breakfast of the early 80s. The late 80s brought about a new trend: liquid protein diets.
I'm losing weight with the SlimFast plan.
Wait! That's SlimFast of the 80s.
Yeah. I know.
Though SlimFast initially found the marketplace challenging, any negative press didn't stop the brand from eventually gaining traction. SlimFast reinvented itself and tapped celebrities to endorse their product, like famed Dodgers manager Tommy Lasorda.
Me, Tommy Lasorda, the guy who loves to eat.
In 1990, the brand launched a $100 million ad campaign and sold SlimFast to 23 million people within the year. Like many items on this list, burritos are nothing new, but they are one of the tastiest foods in existence. And chains like Taco John's and Taco Bell have made them accessible to just about everyone in the United States, sometimes 24 hours a day. Fast food restaurants also made breakfast burritos widely accessible, and in the 90s, they were everywhere, and they weren't confined to Tex-Mex restaurants. McDonald's, Hardee's, and Sonic all added the item to their menu and easily reaped the benefits.
Oh wait, there isn't too much hot sauce, is there? I have a sensitive palate.
But don't give fast food chains all the props, because they didn't invent the breakfast burrito. We owe top honors to a woman who owned a little Mexican joint in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Back in 1975, she tucked eggs inside a burrito and served it up for breakfast. The rest, as they say, is history. Okay, confession. We kind of thought toaster strudel was even older than Pop-Tarts. But, as it turns out, the strudel was invented by Pillsbury in 1985. And in 94, they started marketing the heck out of them. The company launched an ad campaign that pitted toaster strudel against their rival Pop-Tarts, claiming they were far superior. The official slogan claimed something better just popped up, and it seems everybody in the late 90s agreed. 10 years later, toaster strudel would enter the zeitgeist when Mean Girls character Gretchen Wiener's dad supposedly invented the pastry.
That little one? That's Gretchen Wiener's.
She's totally rich because her dad invented toaster strudel.
To celebrate the iconic anniversary of the line, Pillsbury released a special edition toaster strudel with pink icing because, well, you probably remember why.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
If you watched Nickelodeon, you saw literally 1 billion commercials for yogurt. The early 2000s seemed to feature a concerted effort to get kids to eat more of the stuff, and brands of all sorts were pushing it, including Trix and Yoplait, who released Go-GURT, a low-fat yogurt for kids.
It's Yoplait time!
What Yoplait really got right was their advertising. Their ads dominated kids' programming, making it impossible to watch an episode of SpongeBob or Rugrats without being interrupted by TV kids showing real-life kids all things they could do while eating yogurt on the go. We can see why the fad caught on. It's an easy snack for parents and kids. After just 1 year on the shelves, Go-GURT generated more than $100 million in sales. Every so often, a widely hyped, seemingly enlightened food has its moment, and in the mid to late 2000s, that moment belonged to the green smoothie. Of course, eating healthy wasn't a new concept, but when plant-based drinks caught on, it seemed to unleash a resurgence in wellness consciousness. Soon, everyone was passing on the gluten and chugging all the blitzed kale. According to Smoothie King, plant-based smoothies went national in 2004, but as we quickly found out, not all blender ingredients are created equal. Each smoothie differs depending on what it's made of, but with a healthy base of leafy greens and a little protein and fruit, it can be a great start to your day.
What is that?
It's green juice. I bought it for you. It's healthy.
But not everyone was convinced of the smoothie's benefits. According to USA Today, some people experienced alkaloid overload and suffered the stomach pains and kidney stones that go with it. But by rotating your greens and trying new recipes here and there, you can become the smoothie king of your own castle. Because we apparently had become a health-conscious society, we replaced one green food with another. And in 2010, according to the Washington Post, the internet became obsessed with avocado toast. And therefore, so did the entire world. The simple pairing went viral and never really lost its steam. Though other things have since dominated the breakfast scene, avocado toast remains available just about everywhere. Still, maybe the strangest aspect of this trend was a millionaire's notorious advice. Tim Gurner, an Australian businessman, once warned millennials that if they ever wanted to own a house, they would have to beat their expensive avocado toast habit. Of course, the idea seemed ridiculous to many, and in true millennial form, the advice became nothing more than a meme. No word on millennial house ownership and how the stats relate to an $18 avocado schmear.
Avocados taste great on lots of things! See? Avocado toast! We can still make this this work?
Years after the trend died down, fast casual chains like Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks added the fare to their menu. But other restaurants have snubbed the green fruit for good. As Eater noted of avocado harvesting, avocado's popularity in North America and Europe is responsible for the crop's massive carbon footprint. Increased cultivation has driven up productivity to the detriment of the environment. Sorry if we just rained on your toast parade. Bagels go way back. According to the Daily Meal, the word bagel was printed in 1610 in Poland in a community regulations document, which noted that it was one item that could be gifted to a mother once her son had been circumcised. This little tidbit led experts to believe that Yiddish-speaking Jewish communities in 17th century Poland invented these things.
Sorry, I had a bite of my bagel and I forgot to pray.
Fast forward to the 21st century and bagels are still very much the fabric of our lives. But these days we usually see them at breakfast far more than they're gifted for your typical bris, as far as we know. But while they've always been a crowd favourite, bagels hit the big time in 2016. It's hard to pinpoint why they crept back onto our morning plates, but it might have a little something to do with what happened in 2016. Marketer Brandon Steiner claimed that he invented the everything bagel, leading to bagel fever across the nation that just couldn't be stopped by any amount of cream cheese. Whatever the actual reason may be, the bagel trend lasted several years. Still, at least if you ask the New Yorker Bagels Company, the chewy treat never really fell out of fashion. In 2015, over 60% of Americans said they were chewing down on bagels for breakfast at least twice a week. As far as whether those were everything bagels or not, jury's still out. Back in the 80s, the gurus of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the Gracie family, had the inspired idea to eat a smoothie rather than drinking it. The Gracies believed the acai berry to have many benefits, but wanted to find a way to improve its taste, leading them to blend and freeze it and pair it with other fruits and garnishes. Thus, the acai bowl was born.
Aka?
Aka.
Açaí? Asha?
Over the next decade, the acai bowl became wildly popular in Brazil, and it soon gained popularity in the US. Thanks to social media and acai bowl restaurants, this purple smoothie bowl hit its zenith in the late 2010s. According to the Dallas Morning News, the Zambazon brand deserves credit for the popularity of the bowl too. Founded by Ryan and Jeremy Black, the California-based company was the first supplier of the acai berry in America, leading to its eventual spread to the other 49 states. Part of the bowl's appeal, of course, is its purported health benefits, but when it's loaded with globs of nut butter, honey and chocolate, these bowls can be packed with sugar and other body-crushing calories. To get all the antioxidants out of that acai fruit base, eating well suggests going lighter on healthier toppings like chia seed or granola and staying mindful of the size of your beautiful bowl.